Hey guys, it's Yana with Moonlight Feather, and we're back with another DIY tutorial for you guys. We are in the start of wedding season once again, so we have a very beautiful gold dipped feather escort card tutorial for you guys today. So this tutorial is super easy. It's a great, super elegant way to decorate for your wedding and help your guests find where they're going to be seated at their table. So we are just going to jump right in. So the feathers that we're going to be using today are the white Goose Satinettes. These are super pretty. They have kind of these little wispy fluffs at the bottom. They're that classic feather look. I went with white today just because we got like a white and gold color scheme for this one, but you can literally choose whatever colors you want to coordinate with your wedding. You don't even have to dip these in glitter. If you don't want to, you could just go with a natural feather, and that could be what you use for your escort cards. You can really do whatever you want. So we've got the white Goose Satinettes, and if you want to order some of these today for this project, we do have that code for you guys. It's FBLive20. Once again, that'll give you 20% off your order on moonlightfeather.com. So we've got these guys, and you're also going to need some fine gold glitter, some gold metallic paint, or like I said, if you want to go with silver or rose gold or anything, you know, whatever metallic you want to go with. We just went with gold today. You're also going to need some scissors, a paintbrush or one of these little foam paint brush guys, and some string. Again, we just went with white for this tutorial. I just have some napkins right here in case the paint gets a little bit messy. And you are also going to need just a couple plates or bowls, one for paint and one to catch the glitter underneath. And then the last thing you're going to need is little printouts of your guests' names with the table number on there. So you could do whatever size you want. I recommend doing something like a little bit smaller, on the smaller side, so you can see it's proportionate with the feather. It's not going to look too huge compared to it. So you're just going to need those. And I believe that is all that we need. So step one is going to be taking one of our feathers. So I've got this guy right here. And we're going to take some of the gold metallic paint. And you really only need a little bit. So I'm just going to squeeze some out right here. A little pile. And we do have a full write-out of this tutorial again on the blog for you guys if you want to check that out on moonlightfeather.com. That's a super easy way to follow along, and it's got all the instructions, everything written out, the supplies you'll need once again. So this is something you're interested in doing for your wedding day. Go check that out too. Okay, so I'm just taking some paint onto the paintbrush, and I'm gonna leave about an inch of the gold at the top. So you can just vaguely measure out with your finger how far you want it to go, and you just start painting the tip of the feather. And you wanna leave like a nice crisp line of where the gold stops. Otherwise the feather's gonna look kind of messy, and you just want them to look neat and very pretty and elegant. So again, just painting on. You don't have to soak the feather in the paint. You just want to get enough on there to where it's evenly covered. And I love using the little foam brush just because it gives you that nice solid line. It's super easy to work with. And because we're not doing anything crazy artistic, like painting super detail-y stuff, it's perfect. So we've got one side covered up. You can see this nice, crisp, even line. And then we're going to flip the feather over, and we're going to paint the back, because you want these painted on both ends. So again, just getting enough on there to cover it evenly and lining it up. And you just want to line it up with that line you made on the front too. And again, we do have that coupon code for you guys. These Goose Satinettes come in so many different colors. We've got black, we've got brown, we've got brighter colors. You can really choose whichever color you want to coordinate with your wedding day. So it's awesome. Got so many other projects too on the blog for wedding season. I'm super excited for all the crafts we still have to come for wedding season. And the cool thing about this too is that if you wanted to use the white Goose Satinettes, you could also coordinate it with the table centerpiece that we had, I believe, a couple weeks ago, our last tutorial. You can coordinate feathers to match, sprinkled in with your bouquet, put in your centerpieces. It's really easy to coordinate, and we have feathers in all different shapes and sizes, so go check it out. Okay, so now that this is evenly covered, I'm just gonna set this aside. And I'm gonna take this plate, and glitter is super messy, so I highly recommend having something underneath to catch the excess glitter. But I'm just gonna take this little bottle of glitter, and you just wanna sprinkle it on there, get it nice and evenly coated. So it's on there pretty good. I'm just gonna shake the excess off. And sprinkle it on the back too. And again, shake the excess off. And I'd say this is honestly probably the trickiest part of this tutorial is letting them dry, because you don't want to set them down to dry. They can stick to something. You don't want to ruin the paint and the glitter that you just applied. So I recommend taking something like a paper or a styrofoam bowl. I have this little paper tray right here, and I just took a pair of scissors and I poked some holes in it. You don't want them to be too big, but you want them to be big enough to where the quill will slide nicely in there. So this guy is all ready to go, and I'm just gonna slide him into that to dry. And see, they stand up nice and evenly, and you don't have to worry about it falling over and getting ruined. And you can fit a multiple in here. So I recommend doing that, letting it dry. Just because we don't have time to let it dry, I have one that I have already made that has already dried. So as you can see, super nice, very pretty, very elegant. I'm just gonna set this aside as well. And our next step is gonna be taking the string and the little number card for your guest, and we're gonna tie it to the bottom of the quill tip down here. So I went with just this white string for today. You could go with whatever colors you want for your wedding. I'm just gonna take my scissors. And you want a pretty decent length of string to tie it on. If you go a little bit too short, it's harder to tie it onto the feather. And you can always trim the ends after you've tied it on there. So that's my key advice for you guys, is make the string a little bit longer than you think it needs to be. And for my little place cards, you could either have a tiny hole punched in there if you want. I prefer just to score it with a little X. You can use an X-Acto knife, or I'm just gonna use my scissors right here. It's very simple. All you do is you just take the little corner of the blade and you make an X. And you wanna press down just hard enough to kind of slice through the paper. And once you make an X, I'm just taking this part of my scissors and pushing it through, and now we have a little hole. And the reason I like doing this too is just because when the string goes through and it's attached to the feather, it just kind of sits like the paper. You can't really tell that it's been scored. It just looks like the paper is strung through there. I think it looks really nice like that. And I'm just trying to get the end of this to not fray. So we're just gonna do that and then slide it through. Just like that. So as you can see, it's through our little score mark right there. And you just want to hold it up to the base of the quill tip and then tie it on. You can either do just a simple double knot, or you could do a bow. I'm going to do a bow for today just because I like the way that it looks. I think it's very pretty. And again, we're just doing a super simple knot right here. Keep slipping around. Okay, we've got our one knot on here. And if you are doing a bow, I recommend just doing a double knot before you tie the bow, because it'll help the string stay attached to the feather. And then you don't have to worry about flying off, then your guests getting lost, because they don't know where they're supposed to sit at your reception. So, got that double knot. Now I'm going to tie the bow. And again, this project is super versatile. There's so many different ways you can display these, even if you wanted to make them more as place cards and not as escort cards, and you just wanted to place them on the plate, the table setting, it'll look super beautiful, very elegant, very whimsical. I'm excited. So, cutting the ends off of these, just trimming it, because like I said, I did make the string a little bit longer than I thought it needed to be, just so that it's easier to tie it. And we are done. So just like that, super simple, very, very easy to make, very quick. You could even make these up until the week before your wedding if you have those guests that are late getting back to you with if they're able to attend or not, or if they're bringing a guest. It's a very, very easy way, super simple. And just to show you guys, one of the ways you can display it, we have just this styrofoam block that we've painted black, and again, whatever colors you want to match your wedding scheme. And this is a really, really incredibly simple way to display these so that your guests can easily find their name, find their number, and head to their table. So it's really just as simple as getting a styrofoam block or sheet in whatever size you need, depending on how many people are attending your wedding, how many feathers you have, and you can either measure out individually based on the number of feathers that you're going to need, feather escort cards. You can measure out even rows if that's what you want to do. I personally have just kind of pushed these into the styrofoam because they just sit super well in there, so it's really just as simple as that. So there you guys have it. These are our dipped glitter feather escort cards. Again, we have that coupon code for you guys, FBLive20, if you want to order some of these beautiful Goose Satinettes that we used today. These are in white. Again, we have so many different colors. Any other craft feathers that you want to order, that code FBLive20 is going to give you 20% off your order. Check us out on moonlightfeather.com. We have the full write-up out on the blog for you guys, and we'll see you next time.